Hi, Robin.
Okay, I'm on. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Okay, good.
me?
Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, it took a minute.
No
Am I
worries.
the
I'm
only
gonna
one that gets to
drop
come at 3:45?
it. Yeah, there's two. There's the one at 2:45 and there's the one at 3:45.
Yeah.
And we just have 8 mentors this for first year. So the groups are smaller. And so you're the only one on right now. So let's go ahead and get going. And
Okay.
somebody will probably join on. Don't worry, it's okay.
Okay. Well, and in the future, I mean, I can always just like watch the video.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, I
No
feel like
worries.
I'm doing okay. My kids are kind of running around my classroom playing while I'm doing this. So,
Okay, well, we'll jam through it. How's that?
all righty. Yeah.
Okay. There's the sign-in sheet for you. So go ahead and sign in.
Okay, where is that in the chat?
I just dropped it into the chat.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can figure out how to find that.
I just dropped it again.
Oh, I see it. Okay, thank you.
And leave that open because I'm going to be dropping lots of links into the chat for you to look at.
Okay.
So there's the sign in.
All
I'll
right,
give you
got
a
it.
minute to sign in.
If you could just make sure it's turned down, Lily. Okay, kaleidoscope. Okay.
And then now I'm going to drop in a survey just to
Okay.
see how your experience is going. So I'll just give you a couple minutes to fill out that survey.
Okay. Whoops. Oh, whoops. I think I clicked on the same thing.
You see it?
Yeah,
Oh,
there it is.
again.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hey, Lily, could you help her with the tissue real quick, honey? Ah, there we go. Oops. Um, okay, I got that for you.
Perfect. So what you see in front of you are the multiple ways you provide support to your mentee.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, it's okay. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
It's okay.
It's fine, Robin. Don't worry.
Just drop it right there and I'll. Yes, they are.
The office ladies, your pockets, they're gonna try to do it tomorrow.
Okay, no worries. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So the slide illustrates all the different ways you're going to provide support to your mentee. You could be a resource. You might be teaching them stuff. You always advocate for your mentee, and you partner with them in problem solving. The best way to explain this slide is that no one size fits all. You may fulfill all of these roles or just a couple. The idea behind mentoring is to drill down and provide support to them where they need it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the calendar for October, and as well as the first days of school reading. So we're going to dig down into each of these weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The week of October 9th is all about grading and report cards. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for new to profession teachers because this is their first time doing it. So I wanted to provide some resources to you. What you're looking at is a graphic created by Marzano, and it describes what a 4, the proficiency level of a 4, a 3, a 2, and a 1, and a 0 should look like. For standards-based grading, it's perfectly okay to give 2s in the first quarter, because the grade level standards are year-long standards. We're in the first quarter. So it's always a good practice to have multiple pieces of evidence. Some things to shine the spotlight on might be informal assessment, student work, informal checks for understanding, quizzes, projects. Grades also should reflect learning rather than participation. So this particular slide is just an opportunity to articulate what that grading should look like in a standards-based system. One of the hurdles for new to profession teachers is PowerGrade. So I'm going to give you some time to check out some videos and the comment bank. Again, that hurdle is designing PowerGrade to
our
match.
school actually doesn't even use that
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
So we've been having conversations about other things.
Perfect.
The way that we calibrate is different. We have like emerging, developing, proficient, and beyond.
Okay.
You've had to like sit down and calibrate what does that look like so that you're similarly grading in your grade level and things like that. And then our school uses portfolios. So we have, writing pieces, reading logs, all kinds of documentation that supports what they're doing in the classroom so that it supports what's reflected on the report card.
Perfect.
So it's different, but it is really good conversations. How, like, if a parent comes and says, why does my kid have this on the report card? Can you open it up and be like, this is right here?
Right, and show those multiple pieces of evidence to support
for
that.
sure.
And and that's the whole idea behind having a mentee mentor partnership at the site-based level, because how your site operates better than anybody else. So thank you for providing all that information to her.
Yeah.
So I did include some information about SPED specific grading. And so this may or may not apply to you, Robin, but I think it's good information for new to profession teachers to have. Students with IEPs, they absolutely get a grade based on grade level standards. If it's a 1, it's a 1. If it's a D, it's a D. As long, and the important piece is that as long as all the accommodations and modifications have been implemented, that's the key piece. As long as that's where the general ed teacher has to provide those supports. Lots of students have IEPs in executive functioning, so I thought this is a good opportunity to really define what is executive functioning. And it's the ability to plan, focus attention, remember instructions, and juggle multiple tasks. So remember that students with IEPs typically have IEPs in particular areas, and the IEP levels the playing field for them. So their disability can't be held against them. So if they have an IEP in executive functioning, it's really important to remember that you can't give them a grade based on where their IEP is. So this is just a good reminder.
I wish you could tell this to middle and high school teachers who love to give grades based on behavior,
right?
Not turning in an assignment. That's a behavior. That's not a content, it's not a question about whether they know the content. So.
Right. And I have a video in this, I have a video as part of a scavenger hunt, I think in the next slide, that really speaks to giving zeros how a 0.
They have a hard time with that, don't they?
Into their grade. Yeah, so I was planning to give you some time to do a scavenger hunt to look at the Power Grade tutorial bank and this video, Grading with Zeros. That's the one I was talking about, but we're gonna skip that because it doesn't pertain to
Yeah.
your site.
But I would like to watch that video. I mean, I'll pull it back up, and watch it because it's just interesting
Yeah,
to me,
And-
personally. Like,
and it's an 8-minute video and it's worth the watch. It really is
Yeah,
worth
yeah.
the watch. And as your kids get into secondary school, it'll give you some information when you think about how they're getting graded in
Yeah.
that at the secondary level, and how that zero affects their grade. And all of these links are in your Foursquare, so it's
oh, yeah,
already
yeah. Oh,
built
good.
in for you.
Perfect.
It really is worth a watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so the week of October 9th is all about grading and the report cards. It's a big deal for new to profession teachers. The week of October 6th is parent conferences. That's the next hurdle that parallels the grading piece.
Mhm.
iTeam, if you haven't already had that conversation of what iTeam looks like at your site, this is a good week to do that, as well as seat work. So parent conferences look different at every single site. So this is the week where you get to talk with your mentee about how they look at your specific site, because every site has their own personality. And I think at Kaleidoscope, I think you guys do student-led conferences, if I remember correctly. So you want to make sure that your mentee has a good idea of what that looks like. At the end of the day, parent conferences are really about talking to parents about what the student's strengths are and their areas for growth for each student. So I always recommend that all teachers be overly prepared rather than shooting from the hip. And there's lots of resources to help teachers get organized, and we'll take a look at those resources at the end of our time together. If you haven't already talked to your mentee about iTeam, this is a good week to start those conversations. Make sure that your mentee knows who your site interventionist, how iTeam works, and also I ask that you maybe spend some time exploring the intervention site. I'm going to drop that link into the chat box.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with this tab, this is a tab that Cindy McKibben manages, and it has a ton of resources. And what really stood out to me is the RTI academic flowchart. This particular resource just shows the process from beginning to end. And I think it's a good overview for new to profession teachers. What kind of stood out to me as well was the teacher referral checklist. So this particular resource articulates exactly what the iTeam is going to be looking for when you come to the meeting. It truly is just a checklist of what the iTeam is going to be talking about at the particular meeting. So this is a good resource. These two resources really stood out to me, but there's lots of other resources. So this is a good week just to peruse the resources and give a platform for your mentee to talk about iTeam. What does it look like? I think that it's important to talk about it now rather than April, because we want to make sure that if there is a student that your new to profession teacher has identified as struggling, we want to make sure that the supports come to that child sooner than later. So this website just gives an outline and resources to help a new to profession teacher bring those supports to any student who's struggling. And the last thing is to talk about seat work. Seat work is all about maximizing instructional time, and the first days of school really speak to maximizing that instructional time and having activities for students to do when they walk into class while the teacher is taking attendance, while the teacher is talking to parents or other teachers or still planning the lesson or prepping. So this is a very, very busy slide. It's also in the resources, but it just gives different ideas for seat work so that your new to profession teacher can really maximize their instructional minutes. Okay, so the week of October 23rd, as always, will be the debrief of the first days of school reading and the October checklist. So again, just like I always do, I have synthesized the big ideas from the reading. It's always, always, always important to give your mentee grace about reading the pages. You know, they're busy. They've got a lot of moving targets. They're learning, they're doing everything for the first time, and the reading may not be the priority. My hope is that everybody's doing the reading, but the reality is they may not. So in lieu of the reading the pages, these are the big ideas. And what the pages really speak to is that classroom management. The three big ideas in the first days of school is effective teachers have good classroom management. So all of the pages that we're asking mentees to read for August, September, October are all about classroom management and the importance and the relationship that engagement has to classroom management. The reading moves from management procedures to instructional procedures. And the pages talk about the importance of agendas, how seat work set the climate for learning, how greeting kids at the door increases engagement. I know Kaleidoscope does that really well. I know that's part of your classroom culture. So again, I know I've said it, that management and engagement support each other. So these pages just reinforce that idea. And students engaged in learning are less likely to cause disruptions for the most part. So the reality of the situation is that if the teacher can get 80% of the students working, then they're freed up to attend to outliers.
Yeah.
And I put a graphic, this is on I put a picture of this slide on the Foursquare for your convenience. Okay, and then of course the checklist and the resources. So I'm gonna drop a link into the checklist.
Okay.
And the checklist is on the New Teacher Google site, as well as the resources. So I'm just going to give you a couple minutes to peruse those. What's on the checklist and on the resources are directly parallel what you're doing in mentoring. So you should see lots of commonalities between the two. So the checklist, let's see if I can find my link. The checklist and then the resources for parent conferences, student-led conferences. Remember, I told you that super busy slide was on the resources.
Okay.
And then there's that video again, the grading in zeros is
Yeah.
on the October checklist as well.
Cool. Okay, I see. Now this is popping up as slides, but these are on the site too, right? Like the one that
They
says
are.
resources and parent conferences. Okay.
Yep. If you
Yeah,
go
that's
to
easy
now,
to access it from there. So
right. There's lots of different access points to get to that, But yes, everything is there. This is if you click into the New Teacher website, everything is here on New to KPBSD teacher resources. So
okay.
just click into October and there it is.
Okay, cool.
And I find that if you pop this out, there's a way. I think I'm in the editing mode, but you can pop this out into a new tab and it's
right.
bigger.
Yeah.
Just because I'm in the editing phase.
Yeah. Cool.
It won't let me do that. But there's a little pop out that's in the corner here. And it just opens up a new tab. Hopefully not only new to profession, but new to district. Hopefully all teachers are finding these resources helpful to them. Okay. And so the first days of school reading in November, there's the pages. And I only I want to front load you that I'm front loading mentors that there's 3 big ideas in the first days of school. And the effective teachers have good classroom management. So we've been spending all of our time talking about classroom management for August, September, October, because classroom management is important. However, we're moving from classroom management to effective teachers have positive expectations for the months of November and December. Just an FYI, that's where we're going. And then we'll spend the rest of the year, January through May, on effective teachers design lessons for mastery. We're going to spend lots of time on actual instruction. However, 3 months on classroom management, 2 months on positive expectations, and then 5 months on instruction. Next mentor Zoom is November 2nd.
Okay.
Mark your calendars.
Yes.
And then last but not least, I'm going to ask that you go into your Google Drive and find your 4 squares. They should be sitting right
Okay.
there waiting for you
Uh,
with all the links and visuals to help, key visuals from our time together in the Zoom.
okay. Yeah, I see October 6th. Oh, I see 9, 16, 23rd, but not one for this week.
Nope,
Okay.
because
Oh, right. Because we're
Because-
meeting. Yeah.
right, exactly. The expectation is 4 hours
That's
a
right.
month. So
That's
your
right.
hour, you just spent your hour with me.
Yeah.
And then it's 3 more weeks.
Gotcha.
Um,
And so in this file, I just see the 4 squares. Did you say that there were other resources that you were going to pop over there, or no?
There are, if you open up let's go into your October 9th. If you
Oh,
open that up, everything's sitting
Yes.
there waiting for
Yep.
you.
I see.
the-
Okay.
The links.
Yeah.
Anything I thought that could help streamline your
Gotcha.
time with your mentee.
I see. Yeah, that's
'Cause, I
really
mean,
cool.
You're busy. You don't have time to be looking for all these links and and everything's here, there,
Yeah.
and everything everywhere. Everything's right there on that 4 square ready for you.
That is really nice. That is really nice. That is super helpful. Yeah. Perfect. Okay.
So that was my last slide. If you can
Cool.
see your 4 squares, and if you don't have any other questions, then I'm going to invite you to log off and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Hey, thanks. I really don't. I think it's going well. I mean, like I
Good.
said, it would be cool at some point, like to get, I mean, I don't know how you could do this, I guess, in like a safe way, but like, how do I know I'm doing a good job? You know, or like, what are some things I could improve on? You know,
Right.
I know that's hard to kind of figure out how to solicit that kind of information, you know, but I don't know, maybe at least like when the 2 years is done, you know, so before you get another one, you make sure you do better, you know.
So when you say that, there's lots of self-reflections
Yeah.
that I wonder if a self-reflection opportunity could be helpful to you.
Yeah.
Just like maybe a self-reflection that paralleled the mentor standards so that you can
Yeah.
rate yourself. And then
Yeah,
if
there you
you
go.
feel like you want to improve in an area, then you could reach out to me like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I could give you strategies in
Okay.
specific areas. That's a good suggestion. I'm going to write myself a sticky note
Yeah.
because I think that would be good. Maybe,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's going good, but you know, it's hard to know. Especially if you've never done it before. I mean, how do you really know?
And know that we'll be just like we survey you guys, the mentors, we ask the mentors for feedback. We'll also ask the mentees for feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, because that
And
would be
so-
really good to know.
Yep. We'll survey them at the end of the first quarter, semester and then the end of the year is typically
Okay.
the way we've been doing it. We did it
Cool.
last year. We gave them a Google form in October, and here it is October, so I better get that going, right?
It came fast, yeah.
And then December, and then the end of the year. The
Okay.
third quarter, we didn't, just because it's a whirlwind. When it gets to
Yeah.
be March and April, time is just going by so quickly.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree. So, okay, well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Have a
All
good
right.
rest of the
Have a good-
afternoon.
Yep. Hey, thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.